Hey YouTube, figured I'd show you how to do some rust panel repair on a 2006 Dodge with minimal equipment. These here panels, pretty damn cheap. As you see here in the rust belt, the inner fender. These rot away because, I don't know if I can find it, but they put some mastic in between the two. Salt, water, and whatnot gets in there and collects up, and then you get some lovely corrosion, right? And of course, the carbon in it and whatnot, it cracks, and you end up with something like this, and you can't pass inspection. So, 50 bucks, you get the panel. Okay. Now you could bubber it in there with some screws or some rivets, or you can cut the whole damn thing. As you can see, I got it laid out. All right, as to where the panel is, and what I do is I take a measurement off this, get her square to the body, and put a Sharpie line. You could take this off with a little bit of alcohol and some elbow grease. Now, when it comes to sheet metal, I've always been taught the smaller mistakes you made turn into not so big mistakes at the end. So I make all my lines with a scribe. I've come over here and I've measured down to good metal. All right, and then I'm going to cut that and then down in here, and this is going to be our repair. Okay, so all this is going to go. You'll see that. Then I'm going to cut this panel. And I'm going to cut it where that line is. I think it's about in here where that rust line is. That line that went across on the body. I'm going to cut this panel 7/16 bigger. Okay? So that's 7/16 from this line up. Now I'm not going to just stick it on the top and screw it in. No. I went to the mill and I made myself a lapping tool. Alright, 2 pieces of bar stock. And what that's going to do is that's going to give us a nice inside lap. Okay. So, I'm going to go around after I get it cut up, and I'm going to do this inside lap where I cut this, and we'll show you that using the tool that I've made. And they do sell these in this form, and they also sell pneumatic ones. I'm too cheap for that. I'm a cheap prick. One of the things I do like when it comes to any sheet metal is I have a Home Depot Empire stainless steel ruler that you can bend and whatnot. I love this thing. I'm also going to apologize for the shaking of the camera. I went to the doctor and I haven't made a video in a while because I've got a tremor, and we're thinking that might be a tick-borne disease being here in New England, so I haven't been able to do a lot of things. So please apologize. I apologize for that. Please bear with me. We'll get this tacked up, and then I'll explain to you what's going on there. All right. Okay, it's much later. I know it's much later. All in all, this took me a couple hours, but it's someone's very important birthday today. And I wasn't thinking, I wanted to show you guys the step I made. I wanted to show you some nice welds, but that ain't gonna happen. Okay? When I tack, I start in the middle and move my way out. It gives you less distortion on the bottoms because you're pushing the weld this way, and your heat is going to is gonna distort things. Now, I got a little greedy with the rust spot. As you see, I've blown through that bottom left-hand side. And the reason I did that is because that metal's the next to go. I just gotta fill it full of mud. Screw it. The original panel is the black line. I cut it back, and the jig that I made gave me 7/16. And those pliers are really handy if you don't have a metal brake. They're cheap. We can get into bend tangents and whatnot, but I mean, this is just above a fix, honestly. So I'm gonna clean it up with some acetone, throw some mud on it, and let it dry for the night, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Alright, so except for the crappy finish, it's all done. You know, a lot of your detail work is what's going to prevent stuff like this. I used some zinc chromate primer I had kicking around that was old. I probably shouldn't have. Didn't take quite well to the paint. B, I didn't sand it down. I stopped at 220. And anybody knows who does body work, you sit there with some carborundum paper and you sand, you wet sand till your friggin' fingers fall off. As we know, I'm getting older and I got shaky hands and arthritis, but it looks pretty good for my house. Let's do a rattle can spray paint job on her. Let's see. Really not too much to talk about. Some of the bigger the glob, better the job welds there, because I had to put a plate in the back. With these kits, they stop right around here, and there was nothing to weld to down here. I was going clear through when I was trying to weld. Ended up throwing a couple tricks, which one day, I'm not much of a welder, but one of these days we'll get into how to weld really thin stuff that doesn't want to be welded. There are some tricks, and it's a lot, trust me, it's a lot neater under the Bondo. And the Bondo I used was some I found around the house that it's probably 20 years old, if a day. Yeah, don't do that. It didn't mix well. It had a lot of little solid chunks in it. I picked as many out as I could to try to get a decent finish. Yeah, that was worth it. Well, I was going to do a video and show you all how to do like bend radiuses on metal and things like that, but that's for another day. Just figured I'd show you the finished product. So yet again, it'll get through an inspection. That's all that matters.